I'd been doing drugs for, I don't know, since I was 13. Drinking, not really doing much, never became anything. Just trying to fit in where I get in, I skipped first and second period probably the entire 11th grade. I don't know how I passed a lot of my classes. And I know it just caused me a lot of trouble because I cared more about that than I did education. My entire life, since I was 21, I've been hooked on meth. When I was a child, I was involved through my dad and stuff, just going to church randomly. It wasn't like a constant thing. I just remember, going to a church for a wedding and there being little bags of rice that everybody kept throwing around, and I never had any desire to go to church. Arriving at a better way, I had caught some charges. It was a felony aggravated battery. A year and a half, 2 years went by before I finally got arrested again for possession of meth. And at that point, I ended up losing my son to defects because he was in the car. He was like 6 weeks old, and we lost him. My wife got arrested. The judge told me I had, I think it was 24 or 48 hours to turn myself into the program where they're going to put a warrant out for my arrest. I got there. Alexander Dick was the intake guy at the time, and he was pretty cool. And they got me down there, got my picture taken, my first day the better way. So when they took me to Grace House, when you first get there, it looks, you're having a first perception view of everything. And I get in there, and we end up going to lunch, and they're like, "Yeah, you got to go to the front of the line." I'm like, "I'm not going to the front of the line. I'm already in line." They're like, "No, really, you got to go to the front of the line." I'm like, "Y'all are trying to trick me, bro. I'm not going to the front of the line. I'm looking silly." And they're like, "No, really, you really got to go to the front of the line." So I was like, "Okay, fine." So I went to the front of the line, and they had that rule of you get to go to the front of the line for the first 2 or 3 days, which, that was cool, It was funny, though, watching other people's reaction when they come in. They're like, "Nah, bro, I'm not going to the front of the line." Brotherhood in a better way. Something I haven't experienced anywhere else. There's certain people that you form more of a bond with because, just things you go through is basically reprogramming your entire existence. And it really starts with just submitting to what's going on. I caught on really quick, I feel. And I've always been a little OCD with things. And I think Better Way kind of just leveled me up. It kind of empowered me to embrace having things neat and having things in order. And it kind of solidified my shoes under my bed. At my house right now, I've got my shoes lined up under my bed. Clothes are folded in my drawers. Shirts and everything are hung up. But once you establish that, it just becomes second nature. And then you don't even have to focus on it anymore. It's just something that, happens. You just do it. Once you reach a certain point, you get to go to Florida to get baptized. When you first get there to the ministry, you don't really understand the significance behind baptism or, going to Florida. You just see it as a trip. I enjoyed going down there with the guys that I went with. I was grateful that it was the guys that I came in with. That's one of the biggest things I feel like was exciting for me, is sticking out the entire program mainly with the same group of people. The morning of the baptism, we got up, we went out and did our prayer circle. We took our Bibles out there. I didn't have a relationship with God before. My relationship with God now is working on praying every day. I'm learning to more have a friend relationship in the sense of talking to God just like some buddy, and not always asking for things, because God isn't just gonna normally just give you exactly what you want. So I like to pray for the ability to obtain the things that I want through His power and giving me the opportunity, rather than a handout. Give me a hand up. Help me to obtain these things that I'm trying to obtain, if it's in your will. The thing is, like when I'm on my way to work is usually when I'm praying the most, because you get idle mind, you're just driving, you're on autopilot, and it's like, oh crap, I gotta pray. I'm saying, I need to pray to God real quick. Let him know, thanks for everything you're doing in my life. Saying, thank you for giving me an awesome life, and thank you for restoring my relationship with my daughter and my son, and thank you for my cool dog. A Better Way has, first off, helped me connect with God, but it's also established a lengthy period of time in my life where I've been able to see obvious growth. So actually being able to complete 18-month men's discipleship ministry is, you feel good about it. You can actually say, yeah, I was that guy that finished Better Way. Just being in a Better Way has helped me change as a man, helped me grow and become who I've always wanted to, that I never had the opportunity to become. I didn't have the necessary tools and, like Brother John said, a foundation for conducive to growth, I think is what he said. And I had that, and I was able to accomplish that, and to grow and mature and be a man. So after coming through A Better Way, man, I feel I've accomplished becoming a man. And it's hard to say that, you know what I mean? Say I wasn't a man at one point, but now I feel like I am. So at this point, it's just maintaining.